Hi, everybody, and welcome to Episode 7 of Fuzz on the Mic.
Hey-do!
Now, no intros are necessary here because it's just the three of us today because we're going to do something a little bit different and have our first recap episode.
The three amigos, the three big American buffos, the three best friends that anyone could have.
And that's Jason.
So I wasn't going to do any intros because I thought you might know us, but that's Jason if you're still learning the voices. Next to him is Mike, and I am Steve. And like I said, this is going to be a little different. It's going to be our first recap episode where we get all the reactions that we've heard from people about the first episodes and tell them to you. This is why we think the show's going to be a little special, that you actually are involved and we get to go back and touch on things that we may have missed.
Well, that's why we told you to slide on into our DMs and to keep contacting us and giving us feedback and letting us know exactly what you think. This way we can bring them to the forefront of the conversation right here on air, and we can keep furthering the discussions that we've been talking about.
So Episode 1, toilet paper problems, probably the greatest topic ever discussed on the air.
I agree, and it got massive, massive feedback. A lot of people very passionate about the way that they put their toilet.
It's kind of
paper
crazy,
roll.
and like one of the best quotes I heard that someone sent to me was that we want beards and not mullets, and that's proof positive that the way I've been pushing for is the proper way. And now to go a little further on that, 79% of the people who responded to our poll, that's 109 votes, were toilet paper over the top was the proper way to go about it. So what do you have to say about yourself, Mike?
Listen, this is why we have this show. This is why we do this, to see what everyone else is doing, and just to further cement why I am special.
I'll just tell you something right now. But I remember there was a poll for over the top or below, but there was no poll for when no one gave a fuck, like me.
Right,
because no one gives a shit when you're taking a shit. Which means I'm the winner.
I don't think that's true because I like I said, two people actually specifically went and out of their way to tell me that they also flip the roll to the way it is supposed to be if they see it the wrong way. So I am not alone in that topic.
That's scary. To learn that is very interesting. Even my own mother, though, told me, what kind of house did I grow up in? Having it, I should know the right way to do it.
Right. Your mom is one of the votes for the opposite way that you put it. So
like
how
I
does
said,
that happen? How do you grow up with like your mother putting the toilet paper on the roll and just not following that trend?
I just never really gave it much thought. I just put the toilet paper on, and I still stand by what I said before, which is that it is such a perfect invention that it doesn't matter which way it goes, it still works exactly the same.
We're not going to go too deep down this rabbit hole yet again. We already talked about this. We just want to let everybody know that this is what other people think, and we're happy to hear from you.
Yes.
We're very happy you told us. And I'll end it with the most overarching feeling that everyone told us was that the literal patent that was put in when the toilet paper roll was invented shows it going over the top.
Yes.
There are arrows and drawings, and it is patented that way. So
I got to patent it the other way, baby. We're in the money.
Yeah, that's going to get you really far. Now, the other thing from Episode 1 that we did a poll on was whether or not Jason looks like a thumb.
And a lot of people I saw, I do not look like a thumb.
So a lot of people, if you call 30% of the people a lot,
That's a lot.
said you didn't. 70% said you did.
Well, I'll tell you this: those 30%, thank you so much. The 70%, go fuck yourself.
Now, the only thing I wanted
The only reason why, though, hold on, just a quick note, because this was actually brought to my attention through a text message, the feedback, that they said that if the option of big toe was up there, it would have probably been 100% unanimous.
Well, the only real reason I'm bringing it up is, one, to make sure everyone knows the poll results, which we'll go through all of them, and two, because one of the people who voted yes looks like a thumb was your fiance.
She said that?
Alex.
It was her? She said I look like a thumb? Well, we're going to have a serious talk when we get home. That's going to be bad. That's crazy.
He did.
Well, you know what? She's the fool because she's marrying the person that looks like a thumb.
Well, that was really what I was going to say.
Does she have a foot fetish?
I don't know. No.
Well, a hand fetish, maybe a thumb, some kind of thing for thumbs.
No, nothing. That's weird. That's surprising to me. I got to have a nice little talk. I'm surprised that not. But you know what? Stephanie Clusian said that I didn't look like a thumb, which was very nice. And she actually DM'd me and she said, "I'm so sorry for the distress that you're going through. That everyone's saying you look like a thumb." I said, "Thank you." She goes, "You do not look like a thumb." I said, "All right, thank you." So that gave me some positive. So that jumped. That 30 went to 70.
Maybe you should take that ring back.
And give it
That means we move on to Episode 3. Remember the name of Episode 3? It was Dressed for Vampire Sex.
Yes, this is a good
With
episode.
Jolene and Marcus.
This had a lot of buzz. Most of it was because of
Marcus
the
was
abuse of
getting-
Marcus.
That's what it was, Marcus Bad
Everyone
Boy.
loved the dynamic. And that's what I constantly got feedback on. You have to have Marcus more on the show. He is amazing as being the butt of the joke.
Marcus is literally should just come in and just be the pinata, and that's it. Everyone just takes a whale at him with semolina. Easy when I did that. No, but everyone should just literally just roast Marcus.
All right, so now the other thing we spoke about in that episode was obviously sex with a vampire in a mirror. Now, the biggest takeaway I got from that was actually a genius thing, and another person whose name I'll just say because I think she deserves credit for this is Jackie. Jackie Hughes, the makeup artist from Terrifier 2 and Stream.
Right. Yep.
She came in with the brilliant analysis that mirrors used to be made with a silver backing. And vampires are, I don't know, allergic or silver's bad for them.
Yeah, it's like poison.
So that is why
It's
you
their
couldn't
kryptonite.
see a mirror. You couldn't see a vampire in a mirror back then because of the silver, not because of the mirror, because of the silver in the mirror. So that's actually a really clever takeaway, and there's not a lot to say about it, but it's just something you should all know. Bottom line there, thank you, Jackie. That brings us to episode number 4, vegan sushi with the side of grits.
Well, I remember this. Jolene was begging to go to the sushi place. It sucked.
We know.
Yeah, it sucked.
I don't want to recap that part of it.
No, but I do because it was a shame.
Well, I will say that another person whose name I will say is Gilbrando Acevedo. We got an Instagram comment from him. So all these comments are coming in from different places, and we're compiling them and keeping track of them. He said, and I didn't actually fact check this, but he's a very smart man and understands Asian culture, so I'm going to go with him as,
Right.
you know.
He's like a thesaurus for Asians.
Thesaurus.
Well, it would be
And he's more like
of a
an
dictionary or an
encyclopedia.
encyclopedia, but he said sushi means sour rice. That's what sushi actually translates to. So everybody is right. We do not need fish or any kind of meat in the sushi for it to be sushi.
I knew it.
But the bigger point was that we were complaining that it's not really what you want. It's false advertising more than it's anything else. Because when you see sushi, you want fish. Like 98% of the people.
Right, yeah.
So when you say vegan sushi, now you're just screwing with us.
Right.
People are trying to take these things and then they're trying to turn it into something else. And that's fine if you have your own flavor. But it's like, don't impede on another food and say, like your pizza, I'll just use it as an example and say, this is pizza when in fact it's something else. Call it that's something else. That's great. You want to name it something? That's fine.
But it's
Then
bad
I know what
marketing.
I'm getting into. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
False
bad marketing. It's
advertising.
all about marketing because nobody wants some other name. They don't
Right.
want some other thing. They want pizza.
Right,
Whether
right.
it is or isn't actually pizza. It's like these Beyond Burgers or these like vegan
Yeah,
burgers.
yeah.
It's not a burger. In what way is it a burger?
It's not.
It's not. It's just not.
processed.
Right.
So it's like, but we're going to call it that. What are we going to call it? Some vegan
Because they want
sandwich
everybody to
patty?
feel all the
No
same.
one wants
No,
that.
I think
It's
I think it's-
well, I can't have meat. I don't want meat, so I'm just going to have this and just say it's burger. But you know what? Say
you don't
it's
wanna-
whatever
you
it
don't-
is. Like whatever that is,
But it
make
don't-
it a new name.
it won't
That's
Yeah,
what
sell.
but you can't, 'cause then people won't. Yeah, it
Won't
won't
sell.
sell. It won't
Right.
sell.
So
'Cause
all-
everyone's
all
so
this
used to
vegan
burgers.
stuff-
Wow, right. You're
is
right.
marketing.
You're right. I don't eat meat, but I could have a burger. Oh my god, I know.
And what's weird about it is people don't want meat or like meat necessarily, and then they try to make it taste exactly like meat.
So let me tell you, some of these people, everyone in the world today, right? They want to call it burgers because they want to be in with the meat crowd, right? But deep down inside, everybody wants to be a carnivore. They all want to.
So they want to be in with the meat
Yeah,
crowd.
with the
is what
meat
you said.
crowd, yeah,
So
they
the
wanna
vegans who want to purposely not be in with the meat crowd,
Right.
Their whole a lot of people just do it because they think it's cool to not eat meat.
Okay, so they're
but then
creating
they
some-
want to be in the meat crowd.
But they're creating something that looks like meat, that tastes like meat, right? You want meat. You are literally just fooling yourself into pretending that you want plant-based protein. You want meat. You're a carnivore. You'll always be. That's how our human society is built. We kill
technically,
animals.
we're omnivores.
Right, whatever it is. I'm just saying,
Well, wait,
everybody
let's put
wants
this
to
out
taste
there.
the
Can't
meat.
Can't we give a layup on the recap show? Vegans out there, do you feel when you order something that's vegan, are you trying to get it as close as possible to the real thing? Or is it not a kind of taste thing? You don't want it to taste like meat. You want it to be something totally
listen, let me
different.
tell you something
I
now.
think we're just overlooking it. We're boiling it down too much. We're oversimplifying. There are vegans who don't like meat. They don't want to be near meat. They don't like the idea of harming animals. There's a lot of reasons for it.
Yes, and I
And
totally.
then there's the
I'm fine by
people
that.
who are just on a diet of some sort and
Right.
trying to eat less red meat or whatever, and they want it to be meat, and they know they want meat,
Yes.
and they're just trying to get the Beyond Burger that tastes like meat, and it just won't clog their arteries as
Yep.
much.
Well, that's
So
a
there
different
is
story.
there is reason to it, and there's differences for it. It's just we're a little annoyed when you walk into a store that says sushi and there's no sushi.
Right.
That's where it's starting to impede on other people's lives,
Right.
like our lives. And that brings us to episode number 5, Emotions on Emojis, with Seashelves Productions.
I got a lot of feedback on this one, and most of it was people just sending me emojis and saying, "Ha, look, see, I send them."
Well, that's pretty much the consensus that no one agreed with me, and I kind of expected that. But 83% of the poll was in favor of emojis for everybody.
17% said no.
Yeah,
Is that how that works?
said they're not. They're
So
not
who is the
masculine.
17%? Was it your family? Who was the 17%?
No, none of them agree with me. No, it was just me on fake accounts.
I figured that was like 70% is still pretty high for people who doesn't use emojis.
It's pretty low.
No, but I would say I would
It wasn't.
expect almost
The question
100%.
wasn't using emojis. It was, are they not masculine? No one agrees with me, and
Any
I
women?
still think it's wrong. I
Any
still
women
think
thought that's the question. Did any women? You should go back and look at that one. Did any women think that it was more feminine, not masculine, to use the emoji? Because that right there, my friend, is your target audience. That's the ones you go.
Well, if you couldn't tell, my target audience does not exist. I have no target audience.
They're not even in the 17%.
No one agreed. And what I did a little more research into talking about how you don't even know what emojis mean. Like they all have they're open to interpretation. There's actually online an emoji dictionary. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You could look up emojis, and on this dictionary, it tells you what their names are, what they supposedly mean. It even breaks down the difference of how they look on different operating systems and how they used to look on the old versions of them. So you could have a whole history of like the waving hand emoji and what it looks like on Apple, on Android, on PC, on all these different things, and it tells you what it means.
Very good.
That's pretty crazy.
That is.
That's why you go to GIFs. GIFs, I feel, are much more funnier because you go out and you actually look for those
GIFs
things.
are good. GIFs are good. What are
really
your
good.
thoughts on GIFs, Steve? GIFs are good.
I won't send gifts either.
No, but GIFs are funny.
GIFs are funny. So, like, if I send you Chris Farley doing "I am El Nino," if I send you that, that's
Well,
great.
I have a different opinion that gifts I do not consider not to be manly. They're definitely not
You're just not
feminine.
gonna waste your time
I'm
with it.
not going to take my time looking through a bunch of gifts trying to find one that accurately explains what I'm trying to say to you.
No, all
I
I
just
we
don't
always
have
have-
time to do that.
We have a private group chat with myself, Jason, and Damien. I think we're always trying to out-GIF each other.
right. It's GIFs or there's little clips that we send to each other.
Yeah, and that's why you are just wasting time.
Yes,
You should be working.
yes. But that is work because at the end of the day, that's where I get
creative.
most. It's
The
creative. The
creative
creative
juices
juices is flowing.
See, I'm not spending
It's why
time
people do the
scrolling
Wordle.
through
Do you do the
gifs.
Wordle?
No.
I feel like you would do the Wordle. I feel like you're a Wordle
No.
king.
You would do the
First of
Sudoku.
all, I know without fail I would kick ass at Wordle. You've showed me like
I
3
have.
puzzles, and I've gotten it on like the second try for everybody when no one else could get it.
I've just started.
I'm
the Wordle.
not challenged by this stupid game, and I'm not wasting my time on it.
Everyone loves this game, and then they start, competing against each other. Michael cheats all the time.
No,
Simple
I don't.
minds.
It is because
very
he knows
simple
everyone's.
minds.
He knows everyone's first words. Some people don't change their first words. Ashton does. My sister Ashton does the same thing. They know first words, and then they go.
I
off
bet
that.
you they looked up the best first word that has the best assortment of letters.
Ouija has the most vowels.
It's got all the vowels in it, so
Yep.
now you know the vowels
What is
you
it?
need.
Ouija. Michael goes, I'm going to be using that.
See what I mean? You guys, you're already
O-U-I-J-A?
cheating.
Ouija. That's how you spell it, right? Ouija.
Oh, you.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Ouija. I
Ouija.
don't know why it's spelled like that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Interesting.
If you haven't learned anything about me, is that I do not join any trend.
No, he doesn't.
I refuse to join
You
trends.
should start trends.
Okay, that's different.
Start a trend.
You're following trends.
No, I'll do whatever. I'm like a fart in the wind. Whichever way it blows and I'm feeling, I do it. To me, it's not following. It's just kind of doing what I want to do.
Yeah, what you want to do is what everyone else is doing.
If I want to do it that day.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of all of my recap notes of the first 5
I think
episodes.
this was a very successful recap show because we got to see what other people thought about their topics, bring it to the table,
and
talk
show them
about
that we're gonna talk about. So
Right.
send us more.
and learn. And we
Well,
learned
that's the
a
thing.
lot
We,
from
we,
them.
we didn't get enough. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
We need more. We didn't get enough. We're just getting started, and I get that. And we're building the fan base, and we're very happy for everyone who did send what they did send.
Yes,
And
keep
we
it-
love to hear from
keep
it.
it up.
But
we
this
need
is
more.
just, we're floating above the surface. We're just waiting to dive deep into these topics. So if you guys spread the word and talk about these topics amongst your friends, tell them to DM us.
Share the podcast.
And share the podcast. Tell them to DM us. Tell them to, talk about some stupid topics with us. And maybe we'll learn something and you'll learn something as well.
Oh, we're all just learning.
And we're all just learning.
See, that's
It's
what
like
this
I'm
show
back
is
in
about.
school.
This show is just about learning. That's why we started it. We just really
We want to learn.
we need to learn.
Clearly,
I
we do.
definitely need to learn.
And yeah, if anybody wants to buy any new clothes, I have some. And DM me.
Are you? Is that an Emperor thing callback right
That
there?
was an Emperor callback in the recap show.
If you think that Emperor thing's making it into this episode,
That was absolutely horrendous. You didn't even know the fucking story.
I think the Emperor thing is going to be in the extended cut a little bit. So everybody, what we're talking about right now is the extended Patreon version where you could hear Mike ramble on about a story he didn't actually know anything about.
It could be called Mike's New Groove. Because he doesn't know anything about the story.
All right, so on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this recap. Next week is episode 8. The Seashelves boys will be back with us, and you're going to learn a little bit something new. Don't bang on the table while I'm talking.
I was doing
you're
seashell.
going to learn a little something new about one of their members.
And let me tell you something. It is blinding. Little hint.